If you make the conscious choice not to read any Divivan, and instead drop the destructive ones, you are already standing with the person who is far ahead. So every single piece of necessary information will be provided directly to you in the Jared evaluation. The precise and highly responsible roadmap for your success is clearly outlined right there, very selectively. Which 45 specific people do you choose to spend your valuable time with? Because you are inevitably going to become just like them. If you want to make a bank, you simply need to ask yourself exactly what steps are required to get there. You have to be very selective now about which 4 or 5 people you spend your time with, because you will become just like them. If you want to develop a certain habit, you know there are specific ways to do it. And if this habit is not developed, allow me to share a little bit of background about myself. Arikinis Siambom. My extensive PhD research focuses specifically on the complex issues of insurgency and terrorism, a field often referred to as terrorism and tourism, within various Northeast states.
How many do you have?
All the Northeastern states are
7?
sisters and a small brother, Sishim, so
I must learn this.
everyone here has studied up to class 12, and all of you are currently master's students, I believe. I really want to ask, Stone, why are you people having these thoughts? Why have I come here to study this education? Why am I doing a master's degree right now? And what exactly is the benefit of studying all of this?
Research.
Research.
Yes.
Okay, good, and research. You should make a good impression here. You are the one studying, not me. Why are you studying? What's the benefit of studying in these fields? Retain. Research? Research. Yes.
Okay, fine, good. Why research? What is the...
The complex problem of modern society and social isolation. You have truly said something very deep, but when you are diligently studying, you are actually and directly using the public's hard-earned money. You need to understand this. By public, I mean the taxpayers. So the problem of society and isolation, you've said something very deep. When you're studying, you're using the public's money. You need to understand this. By public, I mean the taxpayers. So when you're using it, there should be 2 benefits, one for yourself and one for others. Whenever you pursue extra studies, you're not just doing it for yourself. You have to think about society as well. Of course, you'll benefit personally, but you need to balance both yourself and society. Whenever you do extra studying, you're not just doing it for yourself. You have to think about society too. Of course, you'll benefit personally. And the one who can balance both personal and societal benefit, that person is a game changer. The rest are just part of the crowd. The crowd means a career can often mean just any ordinary job or a simple business venture. But a truly purposeful career is one where you do not feel like it is just a daily job for you. That is the essence of a purposeful career. The very moment you begin to feel that this is just a job for you, then that specific job does not truly belong to you. If you are currently studying without any clear purpose or a meaningful reason, then technically speaking, you are simply wasting your own precious time and potential in the long run. Whether you get a degree or even without a degree, you can still achieve a great deal in this life. How many of you here actually know what it is that you love to do? This is the toughest question you will face. We all tend to think we understand everything, and we often feel like we know it all already. But do you know what the most difficult part is? It is the fact that we actually do not know ourselves. If I am wrong, correct me. We have just gone along with the general societal flow. Whatever is said by others, we just go along with it. And this is not a problem that only we are facing. Right now, this was a problem since our grandparents' generation, great-grandparents' generations. Now, there's an interesting thing in our country: no one goes hungry. Am I right? And this wasn't a problem limited to just one area. This was a problem when it came to your own growing needs. Now, there's an increasing thing that in our country, no one dies of hunger. In our country, you see, there are actually many community kitchens available, brother, where you can always go to get free food. The lifestyle here is such that, so why then do so many people still have so much stress? It seems that people have stress, and that overwhelming stress is almost entirely about money. It is not necessarily that people are stressed because they don't have enough food to eat, but rather, those individuals who don't have as much extra money, they tend to have much more stress about things like planning expensive vacations, for example. They worry about the things they cannot afford rather than their basic survival. I know there is a cycle of money will be coming. It does not necessarily mean that just because you have a 100 crore net worth business or a massive annual turnover, but you are simultaneously going through deep depression, and constant anxiety. That is absolutely not what true financial freedom looks like. If you are currently thinking that just by getting a doctorate degree or by becoming a PhD holder in your field, you will finally know everything there is to know about life and success. You don't need to spend that much of your time. Nowadays in India, you can simply pay money and get it done quite easily. It might sound bad to say, but I'm telling you the absolute truth. It's not about you, but your precious time is being wasted, and that time is very important. And among all of that, the most important thing is your time. It's very easy to simply go with the flow of society, right? Society says this and society says that. Now, you might wonder how and why am I telling you this? I recently met with a person. You might already know about the traditional art of Thangka painting, right? I interviewed the person myself. His name is Master Tenzing, and he comes from the beautiful hills of Dharamshala, located near the McLeodganj station. He is so deeply and incredibly passionate about his work, he completely forgets the passage of time when he is painting. He also has a complete story about this. Mishmal said this, Mishmal said that, and next time in another context I am saying this. If you go to that place, you will see Thangka painting. If you go to Behata or Dashmal, Tenzin is known there in Dharamshala. Painting, what common thing did we understand? They love their work more than money. And you may ask, sir, if there is no money, how will survival happen? The thing is that when you choose your own profession based on your passion and your purpose, sooner or later you will become the best. The second part is that our brain is very beautiful, very powerful. So when we truly love something, whether it is a specific thing or a professional job with a great deal of passion, our brain naturally creates a complex mechanism to build a mental model where we can eventually thrive economically. But yes, it is important to remember that it also requires a significant amount of personal sacrifice. There are certain types of jobs that we often think are very happy, stable, or entirely risk-free. For example, many people look at government jobs as the ultimate safety net. That is exactly what we feel in our hearts. How many of you truly believe that there is no pressure at all in a prestigious government job? Is anyone here today from a family background where you have several family members currently working in the government sector? Does anyone here have any clear idea about this? Which specific role do you think is the most powerful government portfolio? I'll just give you a simple example to think about. Do you believe that the Indian Administrative Service is very powerful? What about the Indian Police Service, administrative officers, or the Indian Police Services? These roles carry immense responsibility and weight in our society. And I was in the Foreign Services Department as well, meeting with the Secretary of State, even now, whenever you go to meet with them. You can see that they are always under immense pressure and a great deal of stress. Work pressure is always there, that's the point. No job is bad. The question is, are you fit for it? Even in foreign services, when meeting the secretary, they are always under stress. The point is simply whether you are a fit or a misfit. Will you truly be able to successfully manage and handle it? Or will you perhaps not be able to do full justice to it? Justice in the sense, for example, I am giving you a detailed lecture right now. But suppose I don't like interacting with people at all, and I'm not interactive, preferring to remain silent, then I won't be able to do proper justice to my chosen profession. I'll just perform the basic requirements of the work, take my monthly salary, and leave, for example. Why is there no justice? Like, because of me, some student is not getting what they deserve. So this is just a small example. In the same way, if you go into any job, but you know what your skill is, at this level, you have more than 1 or 2 years of experience. If you go into a profession that matches that, you will enjoy it, not feel depressed. Why is there no justice? Because of me, some child is not getting what they deserve. This is just a small example. In the same way, if you go into any job, but you know what your skill is, at this level, you have more than 1 or 2 years of experience, and you go in that direction. The entire situation we are discussing operates primarily from the specific perspective of what profession is considered good right now. For example, you might go and get specialized training in artificial intelligence, but does anyone truly have a clear idea of what exactly will come after AI? It is highly likely that you will find yourself simply observing the current direction of things and choosing to align your actions accordingly, effectively ensuring that you will just follow that specific trend as it continues to develop and evolve over time in the foreseeable future. At some point, that trend will also come to an end, but only those will survive in it who... At some point, that trend will also come to an end, but only those who are truly fit for it will survive. Exactly. So you get trapped. Now, coming back to the second point, where we started the discussion, why is education needed? What does formal education give us? Knowledge. But if it's just for knowledge, you can use Google for that. What is the actual purpose of getting a degree? Knowledge. But for knowledge, you can simply use Google or ChatGPT. So why is it truly necessary to go to a university? Socialization, but you get socialized in your family too, with your parents, right? The specific family you belong to provides that initial foundation. So does it really mean that someone who has never once gone to a formal school, someone who has never even crossed the physical threshold of a classroom building is somehow not civilized? Think about it carefully. Many of your own grandparents probably never even set foot inside a school in their entire lives. But they are often much more knowledgeable and wise than we are today. Would you agree or disagree with that? You see, life itself is a profound experience. So this leads us to a very important question. Why exactly do we come to university at all? The complex answer to this particular question is you can study the syllabus using ChatGPT, you can learn from Google, you can watch videos on YouTube. So why are you coming to university? You can even get a degree through online distance learning. So why come to university? It's important to understand this why. I am least bothered about the dropout ratio. Ladakh's dropout ratio is 19.85% from +2 to graduation. To put this into perspective, what this essentially means is that if 100 people are passing +2, then approximately 80 of those individuals are pursuing their formal graduation ceremonies. I am deeply concerned about the people who are coming to college but lack a clear understanding or a specific purpose for why they are attending in the first place. That is the most critical and significant issue that we need to address today. It's not about just blindly following the herd. Everyone is going, so I am going too. Everyone is doing graduation, so I am doing it too. Everyone is doing masters, so I am doing it too. Nowadays, it seems that almost everyone is pursuing a PhD, and so you might find yourself simply following the crowd and doing it too, but this is exactly where the fundamental problem lies. The core issue is that if you are merely doing what everyone else is doing and you choose to follow the same path as the majority, you will never be able to achieve anything truly unique or special in your life. This is because simply doing what everyone else is already doing is always the easiest possible thing to do. It requires no personal initiative. You do not have to search for your own unique path, and you never have to engage in the difficult process of individual experimentation or risk-taking. Just imagine for a moment, what if Sachin Tendulkar had gone to learn singing, and Lata Mangeshkar had gone to play cricket instead? It is a well-known fact that Sachin Tendulkar didn't even pass his class 10 exams, right? And yet, does anyone in this world ever stop to ask him exactly how many marks he got in class 8, or why he never chose to graduate? No one asked the late Lata Mangeshkar that kind of question either. Sadly, she is no longer with us now. The very day you finally realize that your unique path is not defined by grades. Another important aspect to consider is if you happen to think that you already have a lot of money, or perhaps your family possesses a vast amount of wealth, for example, let us say 100 crores, 150 crores, 200 crores, or even 500 crores, whatever the specific amount might be, and you believe this is your primary source of steady income. Whether that revenue is currently coming from the tourism industry, large-scale construction projects, or any other major business sector. Now, that is a completely different aspect of the situation. Many people often tell me, and I frequently hear it being said, that these days students simply aren't the same as they used to be. You know, they're far too deeply absorbed in their mobile phones and not nearly as interested in learning. However, I don't think that's true at all. What truly and fundamentally matters is what is happening deep inside the student, right here. Everyone possesses vastly different and unique skill sets. This lady and that lady have different skill sets. You cannot compare. Well, the first thing is we need to get rid of this comparison mindset. What does it do? It makes us introspect. Everyone has different skill sets. This lady and that lady have different skill sets. The first thing is we need to get out of this comparison mindset. What does it do? Instead of making us introspect, it puts us under a stereotype factor. Could anyone here please explain to me the fundamental distinctions between knowledge and skill? Furthermore, is there actually any significant difference between innate talent and acquired skill? Or perhaps just talent itself? For me, tell me the difference between knowledge and skill. What is it? Let's clarify this. Talent is innate, while skill is clear-cut and can be detected. Some things you learn just by watching your father or grandfather, right? So, let's consider talent, skill, and knowledge. These are three distinct aspects of human capability, right? Is there any significant relation among these three specific elements? Skill, talent, and knowledge, is there any deeper relation between them? We must realize that knowledge is essentially useless unless it is practically usable in the real world. For instance, if you studied the complex field of economics but never actually used it in your daily life, then it becomes completely useless and forgotten. But another aspect is that if you acquire knowledge somewhere or the other in life, it becomes useful to you. So that's the technical part. If it doesn't, then it becomes useless. That's the second part. If you acquire it somewhere in life, it will definitely come in handy. So technically, if it doesn't, then it becomes useless. The second part is that knowledge helps to enhance our skills through practice. And talent is a blessing from the Almighty, right? Along with interest, the why factor of purpose, why you are coming to the university. If you know that, you will find motivation. But if you don't know why you are coming, you will never find motivation. Let me explain with an example. When you all selected your courses here at the university, how many of you actually investigated what resources are available here? And by resources, let's start by talking about your faculty members. Which specific faculty member has deep academic expertise in what particular area? From which faculty member can I extract which specific thing, something that is truly their unique area of specialization? How many of you actually took the time to thoroughly research this information before coming to this college? Whether you are currently in the middle of your master's degree or just starting your bachelor's studies, did you really look into this? Are you truly able to understand what I am trying to explain to you right now? Basically, you are living in a very vague and uncertain world. It is not your own fault. It is simply the nature of the ecosystem. You interact with these various resources every single day. How many of you actually take the time to go into the faculty's office, into their private cave, and discuss important things that exist outside the narrow syllabus? Real life exists far outside the syllabus. You study the principles of microeconomics and macroeconomics, but there is so much more to learn. There is a significant discrepancy between the principles documented within textbooks and what actually occurs in the real world. If you were to speak with any professional economist, they would tell you that when there is a period of depression or high inflation in the market, the formulas applied in those situations require them to study the market extensively and carefully analyze the available market data. Many people mistakenly think that if you just get a degree, take it, sit for a rigorous competitive exam, and finally get a job, then that's it. This is the prevailing mindset that dominates our society today, always looking for the easy way out. But if simply understanding the competitive exam was truly all it took to succeed, then every single high-ranking IAS and IPS officer would be perfectly happy. No one would ever choose to resign, and there wouldn't be any administrative terminations, because professional fulfillment is much more complex than just passing a test. And whatever I'm saying right now, you can certainly check the data for yourself. If every single person who cracked the IITJEE was truly happy, then why do so many people leave IIT after only 11 months? I am originally from Kharagpur. I spent my entire school life living on the IIT campus, and IIT Kharagpur is actually the very first IIT in India. And with the wonderful blessings of the Almighty, even back in class 11, my specific batch got a very special chance that we told, by the way, Sundar Pichai, the name you know from Google, he is a pasut of IIT. Now the point is, which exam is more interesting, CU or this one? Let me tell you again, Sundar Pichai, you know the name, the CEO of Google. He is a passout from IIT Kharagpur. Now the point is, if I give you an example, the CEO, do you know in which field he did his BTech? In metallurgy. What does that have to do with Google? And here's an interesting question. People do engineering in IIT, right? I'm not talking about all IITs. I'm talking about the top 5 IITs in India. Can anyone name the top 5 IITs? Let me tell you, Mumbai, Kanpur, Delhi, Kharagpur, Madras, Chennai. These are the top 5. After that, each state was given one. In the future, these graduates don't always remain engineers. Some choose to become high-stakes investment bankers, while others might even drive buses. Have you ever heard of the company called Zing Bus? Interestingly, the founder of that successful venture is an alumnus from IIT Kharagpur. Similarly, have you heard of the food delivery giant Swiggy? The founder of that massive platform is also from that very same institution. I'm just giving you these two specific names as examples of this trend. So my big question for you today is, the cream, the ones who do PhDs, and even those who do a PhD from IIT, those who do their BTech from IIT, there's more than a 90% chance that after BTech, they'll go on to do MTech or PhD abroad and end up working there. The rest, the ones in the 70 to 80% range, they go off in different directions. But the stories we hear are always about that top 5%. I want to be very clear that I am simply sharing a personal story with you today. I am certainly not trying to criticize anyone involved, but rather I am just showing you one specific side of how things happened. Now, as for the deeper reason why you choose to come here, the answer to that complex question, one of the primary reasons, as the madam previously mentioned in her remarks, is to learn how to function within this specific ecosystem, which you yourself referred to as becoming civilized. Now, I want you to really think about this and tell me, honestly tell me, when you were spending all those years in school, weren't you already being civilized by that entire educational process? Have you ever heard the legendary name of Rabindranath Tagore? Did he ever actually attend a traditional formal school during his youth? Tell me honestly, when you were sitting in school, weren't you becoming more civilized? Have you truly heard of the great Rabindranath Tagore? It is a fact that he never received any kind of formal schooling, yet he remarkably won the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature and meat. Have you ever heard of the mathematician Ramanujan? In which subfield, believe it or not, he actually couldn't even complete his formal graduation. Do you truly know the reason why? It was simply because he used to constantly run away from the study of mathematics and would unfortunately fail in all his other subjects. He never managed to graduate in a formal way. Now, do you know where he finally received his degree from? Can anyone here take a wild guess? Yes? Correct. But which specific university was it? It was Oxford University, awarded solely based on his deep passion for mathematics and the complex puzzles he wrote. Often when we look at these highly successful people, we tend to place them on a pedestal, mistakenly believing they possess some kind of rare, exceptional talent that is entirely out of our reach. However, the reality is far more grounded. They are fundamentally just like every one of us, sharing the same doubts and limitations. The only true distinction is that they found something they genuinely loved and simply stuck to it with unwavering persistence. By consistently dedicating themselves to their passions day after day, they eventually achieved greatness, proving that success is less about innate brilliance and more about the simple act of never giving up on what you truly enjoy doing. And who has always scored 90%? The vast world around us truly does not care about that. It is only a temporary matter of societal concern for a short while. After that, what will really matter is your personal standing and social status. So do not ever exhaust yourself trying to please anyone else. I would like to ask, how many of you here today truly want to make your family happy? I am simply asking this question. Who always scores 90? The world doesn't care. It's a temporary social matter. After that, your status matters, so don't please others. How many want to make your family happy? Just asking. If you find yourself struggling and ultimately failing in the difficult process of trying to make your family happy and secure, you will notice that after you reach a certain age, your family members will still love you a great deal in their hearts. However, as you continue to grow even older and your ability to contribute diminishes, the statistical proportion and the harsh reality of being neglected or even disowned by those you love will also steadily increase. My words may sound incredibly harsh, cynical, or even cruel to you right now, but the relentless passage of time and the lived experiences of many will eventually prove the absolute truth of this statement. If you truly find joy in driving massive trains, then you should pursue becoming a professional train driver. However, please do not choose this path simply because you are seeking the security of a stable government job. Similarly, if you genuinely enjoy the act of serving the public, you should become a dedicated administrator. But do not do it just because you have a desire to ride around in a vehicle with a flashing red beacon. These are the essential things to consider. If you find that you enjoy working with complex numbers, or if you like deeply understanding the fluctuations of the global market, You go out, ask questions, observe in malls, look at market trend data, mints. How many of you read economics? How many read Economic Times and Mint newspapers? How many of you have those apps on your mobile? Have you heard of these newspapers? Mint is also about economics, Economic Times. Why don't you have them? It's not your fault. It's just not aligned, and not everything will be told to you by your teacher. At this specific academic level, you will find that you are only being constantly spoon-fed information. You absolutely have to start asking more deep questions. Nowadays, it seems that most students simply don't ask any questions at all. What exactly are you so afraid of? There are really only two distinct possibilities to consider. Either you will eventually get a helpful answer, or you simply won't. What more could possibly happen to you? Is the teacher actually going to take your life away? Maybe at that exact moment, the teacher doesn't have the answer. Bro, I really want those high marks. I want to be a topper. But have you actually stopped to think about what you will do after becoming a topper? Are you just going to hang your certificate somewhere on a wall and stare at it? How happy or sad will you really be with that achievement in the long run? You need to realize that someone right behind you might overtake you at any moment, leading to a never-ending cycle of stress. It's incredibly important to understand this perspective before you burn out. So, before we dive deep into this very important topic today, let's take a moment to reflect on why we are chasing these numbers in the first place and what true success actually looks like for your future career and personal peace of mind. So this is what we call midlife. This is midlife because in this day and age, most people can expect to live until they are 60 or 70, or maybe even 70 to 75 years old. Your grandfathers, on the other hand, might actually live to be 90 or even 100 years of age, depending entirely on their personal health and lifestyle. Now, in a place like Ladakh, the average life expectancy is actually quite a bit better than elsewhere. But as for the rest of us, well, we should probably just forget about that. Personally, I am just assuming a total of 70 years for myself, and that is being quite generous. That's how it is. You know, now at this point in life, I think about it, what I'm doing, I don't like it, but I can't do anything else, and I'm stuck in a cross-company situation. It doesn't happen, you know. Now, when I think about it at this point in life, I don't like what I'm doing, and I can't do anything else. And as for this cross-creative thing, I don't even know where it's going. Then I look at others and think, man, that guy has a job, he's earning so well, look at what's happening with him, and here I am, falling behind. Blood sugar doesn't come from eating sugar, it comes from depression and anxiety, and the people who have money, they're the ones who have this anxiety. If you keep breaking down, you'll end up getting robbed. It creates a kind of dependency. If you close off your hopes, thinking that someone else will take care of your problems, and you keep seeking knowledge from me, this is a result of such issues. That's why, for this reason, what I am talking to you about right now, I want to emphasize that I am not getting any financial compensation or monetary reward for this. This is purely academic research, and it is entirely our own self-initiative. Because I and my wife, she is a special child herself, and she is currently working on the specialized field of education for children with unique needs, specifically focusing on special child education technology and those related things, and we are both very deeply and personally connected to what we are doing. We interview those people who are very connected with the work. After this session, I will be going to meet someone, here. There is a place where work related to therapy happens, OT, TR, passion. I will go there to interview them, but just to meet them. They know this method here, but by talking, there is a place called Poti Village where the OT, TR wife is very passionate. I will go to interview her. By making that video, my purpose will be fulfilled. This is research. It is important that this story reaches all of you.